Welcome to Be a Blessing with Mitch and Wendy, a no-holds-barred guide to being the best you can be so that you can be a blessing to your family, friends, and everyone you meet. Be a Blessing is about life, from parenting to building a business and building yourself. Mitch and Wendy will cover it all. So buckle up and prepare to get uncomfortable because growth only comes from the other side of a challenge.
Welcome to episode 16, Be a Blessing with Mitch and Wendy. Today we're flying as a duo. I always want to say solo. We're actually a duo. Today we are a duo and we're going to talk about some things. But before we do, normally I do this at the end. Today I'm figuring we're just going to take it out, take care of this right thing. Hey, if you have been enjoying this podcast, please share or subscribe. I'm doing this because my boy Frank, producer Frank's in the house. He's going to say, subscribe now. Hit the subscribe button. Please also hit the share button. Share this with all your friends. We appreciate it, man. We've done well.
Any kind of value to your life. I mean, that's the best way. We're not sponsored. We don't have any.
I make jokes about being sponsored, and that's just
by why not stop by the hamburger?
Yeah, and that's just places that we frequent, so it's just a little shout out to those places.
There's zero sponsorship.
No sponsorship.
Here.
We make no money on this. It's just kind of a passion project. So hopefully, if you find value, if you share it, people like you will find value in it as well. Today, that's kind of, I've noticed this as I've watched it. When I say today, I say today is kind of.
Yeah, you do that a lot.
Yeah.
That is your intro.
That's my intro voice. Today.
Well, wait, hang on. I gotta share something with you.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that. So remember our anniversary podcast and how you gave me the coolest gift in the world?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I gotta let our viewers know I never lose things. Ever lose things. I lost it. I lost my blade.
No, you're just saying this.
No,
You didn't really lose.
You already know this. Don't even act like you don't know. We went to Panama City, and we went fishing, and I think it came off my shorts.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, well, anniversary gift gone.
Well, I just thought that was kind of a.
Well, I'm glad I didn't lose my anniversary gift, so I'm winning. Frank, chalk one up for athletes. Well, yeah, we've already dealt with that, so it's all good. The anger has subsided and the hurt is lessening each day.
Oh, it's fine.
Hey, we got some things we're going to talk about today. If you saw the picture probably hinted at least one of those things. You're seeing this. I'm not sure where we are in the midst of current events in the world. We shoot this, and then a week later, it's posted.
Yeah,
so
it's always a lag of
if this
about
is a little
7 days.
Post-dated, nobody cares anymore. Just remember, we talked about it while everybody was talking about it. One thing that I'm wanting to talk about before Wendy gets into some continuation of a podcast we did earlier, talking about the courage to change. We're going to kind of do like a second segment of that. But before we do that, I want to talk about mental toughness. You and I talk a lot about mental toughness. We've actually, in previous podcasts, have talked about mental toughness and the importance of it. And right now, there's something happening, or something is being, I think, within our culture, something's being revealed about where we are as a society and how we think about that. And I just want to preface all this by saying, this is in regards to Simone Biles. I'm not a hater. I think Simone Biles is probably the most talented gymnast.
I love her.
Yeah.
I'd love to have dinner with her, hang out with her, because I probably learn.
Yeah, she's amazing. This has nothing to do with her or even really her decision. She's decided to bow out. And I don't even really know all the ins and outs because I haven't even watched the Olympics yet this year. Not for any other reason other than I've just been busy, because of political reasons or anything else. I'll probably watch some of the track events because I always enjoy the track stuff.
Those are adrenaline.
But I just haven't had time. I have had time to see people post about Simone Biles quitting and their opinions on it. And so I want to preface it by saying this isn't about her and her decision. She wants to bow out. It doesn't matter. That's her decision.
Because it's not going to affect your life.
Not going to affect me. Look, here's the problem. People are either villainizing her or turning her into a hero. And I just don't think it warrants either, okay? If you think she's a villain because she feels like she's not able to compete at her highest level, well, look, that's your prerogative, but I don't think you should turn her into a villain. She's not a bad person. She's just not performing well, and she's made a decision. On the flip side, and this is the thing I mean, as as bad as that whole villain thing is, it's really stupid. But on the flip side, making her a hero, I think is also just as kind of ridiculous as well.
Because they're using the whole mental illness, anxiety, depression, whatever, as a badge of honor.
Yeah, well, I think here's
wearing
the problem.
that like it is the Olympic gold medal.
Yeah. And again, she can do whatever she wants. It's neither here nor there. She decided not to continue. That's her prerogative. I don't think she's a villain. I don't think she's a hero. I think that she's an amazing athlete. I commend her for all that she's accomplished more in her short life than most ever will.
She could stop now and still be more successful than the majority of humans.
Exactly. But here's the problem. What's really irked me is I see people comparing her scenario to Carrie Strug, the lady from the 1996 Olympics who had the vault moment where she was sort of injured, hurt her ankle, and then continued competing, and then through a really courageous and amazing, probably one of the most amazing moments in my generation's watching of the Olympics, like performed a flawless vault with one leg, essentially, or one ankle. And I think they won the gold medal because of that, or they medaled because of it. Just an amazing moment. And they're demonizing that moment and what she did by choosing, probably because she was challenged by her coach, maybe was inward, like felt the pressure of people watching, but they're villainizing that moment as though it was something to be frowned upon. And that just is, I cannot understand for the life of me how we've, as a society, are now viewing mental toughness as something to be frowned upon. I don't understand that.
It's like with anything, the pendulum always gets to a stupid area.
It's just really, like, that was an amazing moment. And to say that, because you don't want to continue, now if you're injured, that's obviously one thing. But you and I both played sports, and let me just say, I've never nowhere competed at the level of the Olympics. Jesus. Nowhere near, okay? But here's the thing. Whether you've competed at that level of the Olympics or you've competed in high school, we've all, as athletes, no matter where we've competed at, even in Little League, travel ball, high school, college, if you made it to the collegiate level, we've all had pressure put upon us. I mean, I think about our son, and not only our son, the kids, when I coach travel baseball, those kids as they're learning to pitch and they're on the mound and everybody's watching them and they're a child and they are struggling to throw a strike. You've seen those moments. Talk about as a coach, as a parent, just as a human, seeing a 14 or 13-year-old go through that difficult process, and it's heart-wrenching.
It's heart-wrenching, but at the same time, I'm like, Miss Shit, you're going to experience this throughout your whole life. You're not immune to it. It's not like you can shield yourself and put yourself in emotional bubble wrap because there's going to be some stuff that happens to you. And guess what? It happens to every freaking person across the spectrum, regardless of race, gender, color, religion. It happens. So at some point, you've got to develop the skills to be able to overcome. Now, when it gets to a point where you're making some serious decisions of, should I continue this life on earth or not? Yeah,
that's mental illness. And
that is a point to stop the world and let's get some help.
Yeah, if you're participating in sports is causing you to question, things like suicide and your value as a human, obviously that's where I think real mental health is coming into a scenario, right? But I just think that all of us, mental toughness really is the key to success in life. You can peel everything back, talent, ability, privilege, whatever it is you came up with or didn't come up with, the people who are most successful, in my opinion, are people who had mental toughness and were able to stick it out and get it done no matter what came their way.
Well, I said that on my own personal post is struggle. I've never met an interesting person who never encountered struggle. Yeah. I mean, if you've never encountered anything and everybody has shielded you from anything that could harm you, not harm you, but like challenge you, obstacles. I mean, what's the point? There's no growth there.
It's concerning, and we've talked about how soft the generations are becoming.
Man, I
They're
worry
soft.
about our future military.
Yeah.
With those generations coming up and with the military and people growing up being so soft and bubble wrap, you think a jihadist is going to freaking care when he's got you kneeling in front of a camera just like this?
Yeah.
I mean, what are you supposed to say? I'm going to go ahead and quit.
Yeah.
Just send me home. Let me go ahead and contemplate all the things that are happening to me. No one freaking cares.
Again, I want to say this. I'm not saying Simone Biles is soft. This has nothing to do with Simone Biles. She's amazing. She made a decision, and decision is hers, and she owns it. She's not a villain, and she's not a hero because of that decision, okay? Here's what I'm saying. To champion the idea of quitting because it's mentally difficult in a sport, to me, reveals softness in a generation.
In a generation.
Yeah, because there's just heroism behind it. And let's not forget, probably in regards to Simone, probably what started this mental challenge for her is the fact that the freaking Olympic Committee wouldn't even let her perform to the highest levels of her capabilities because she's too freaking talented. And it wasn't fair. What kind of bullshit is that?
And what do you think?
Soft, Frank.
No,
They're soft, man.
No.
Oh, it's not fair. They're going to get hurt trying to keep up with you. That's their problem.
At the same point, let me just pose a question. Do you think that thing by the Olympic Committee had anything to do with her decision? You think that threw a monkey wrench in what it was? Here I am living and training and going beyond my own measure. And because I am capable now of doing these things, I'm being held back, held down. Do you think that may have had something to do with her decision? We'll never know. And honestly, I'm going to leave that to Simone. She's a woman. She's a grown woman to make her decision. Yeah. And you know what? And at the same time, if she's at peace with it, with no regrets, I think everybody else should be okay with it too.
Again, it's not about that. It's just what it reveals about so many people. People who think she's a villain, listen, you need to just check yourself. She's not a villain. She's an amazing person, Olympic athlete who made a decision. She's not a villain. People who think she's a hero because she's bowed out, listen.
Evaluate yourself and what you're trying to...
Because here's what's going to happen.
What you're trying to justify.
In life, it's easy to excuse away your lack of performance, okay? If you're a business owner, shit's going to get hard. It's going to be easy to excuse it away. I've never been an Olympic athlete, but I've started a business from scratch in the midst of a pandemic year. And let me tell you, that was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. And there were days mentally, I was not there. I was not there. I was not in it. But you know what? I had 2 boys and a wife who counted on me to get my ass out of bed and go to work. And I'm going to start cussing here because I get it passionate. Because it has to get done. And to sit here and to excuse away, and this isn't about Simone Biles, it's about all of you who want to make yourselves feel better about all your excuses in your life and using this moment as a way to champion it is bullshit. Bottom line, there's going to be times in your life where you're going to have to mentally overcome some challenges. And if you want to excuse it away as something as saying, because of my mental health, man, you're that's just nonsense. Again, if your job's causing you to question should you be here on this earth and suicide, there's an issue. But if you just are having a difficult day or maybe a week or month and you just aren't into it because it's hard, or maybe the rules have changed. Hey, last year, how many times when the hurricanes were coming, we couldn't write insurance? The rules were constantly being changed last year, right? That was mentally challenging. I had to change my marketing plan. I had to change who I was reaching out to. I had to change direction many times last year to continue to be successful. It could have been so easy to just excuse it all away because mentally I wasn't in it. But you were counting on me. My boys were counting on me. And look, and you were doing your thing as well, right? So anyway, enough to beat this dead horse. Tired of sorry generation, soft generation. Hey, we've burned some time, but hopefully this has been at least interesting and caused. And look, if somebody happened to stumble upon this and you disagree with this, that's okay. It's okay to disagree. You don't have to hate me. I don't hate you. It's okay to disagree and have dialogue. But it is concerning to me. And we talk about our children. It excites me at the same time because the kids who are coming up today, who are being challenged, who are mentally tough, who are going to be able to overcome those obstacles and not excuse away their failures, are going to be the ones, I promise you, who are going to lead us into the future. Now, it's going to be difficult because, man, the people that they're going to have to, it's going to take a lot of effort for them to lead the type of individuals that probably are going to make up the bulk of
And
their...
those kids that are leading are going to be villainized
Yeah.
because of their ability to do that and overcome.
Yeah. But enough about all that. Listen, mental toughness, so important to your success, which leads us into our second topic of the day. A couple of weeks back, we talked about the courage to change. And Wendy really talked about some decisions she's made over her course in her life to specifically leave nursing, and then she went into the insurance industry, became a business owner for the first time, and kind of talked about those challenges and the rewards of that. And I talked about some of the changes in my life going from working in church, the church world, ministry, and transitioning over into a state farm agency and then into this independent agency. So lots of changes have occurred in our lives over the years. And we didn't really talk about the practical steps we take.
We try to squeeze everything into a 20-minute segment because we know after 20 minutes, y'all are gone. Mentally, you're shopping at Walmart.
So we had a few folks that reached out and said, hey, can you give us a process that you used to make those changes? And so Wendy's going to kind of lead the discussion from here. Some things, and I'll interject some things that I do and I think about as I'm making decisions that are going to cause massive change in my life and the life of my family.
So the first question they were asking is, how did I come to the determination that I needed a change? So I was talking about in the first segment that I felt stagnant. I felt like I've reached a plateau. I had no desire to continue my education or go to a higher level of the nursing that I was currently in. I was basically just floating out on a raft in the middle of a pond, just maintaining what I was. I knew that I was, and I realized from these segments I say a lot. So if you've listened to my pro tip and you've fast forwarded our thing to 1.5 or 2.0, I'm dropping the beat. I'm doing So anyways, I wasn't happy, but the first thing I did that got me to that place where I knew I wanted to make a change is that I just went into prayer. I went into prayer. And I asked God that if a change of scenery was needed, then let me know. And if not, change me. I need to be more involved and present in my current job and find my purpose. One of those things was writing down everything every day, what I was grateful for with that job. It didn't matter big or small, minute, I wrote it down and I started being thankful for my present situation. That would help free me up from all the negative emotion that could be driving my decision for change. So I maintained a state of prayer and a state of gratitude.
So your prayer, let's talk about it, because a lot of folks that watch this probably are people that pray. So when you're praying about something, when it comes to this idea of change, what does that prayer look like? You briefly touched about it. Either make me content in my current situation or open up opportunity. And Lord, help me not overcomplicate this. Yeah. Help me not be so over spiritual that I overcomplicate it and then I ended up missing your voice. Yeah, listen, and this, again, we are people of faith. This isn't a religious podcast, but because of our faith, it oozes out sometimes. It will ooze out. My prayer life is nothing that is going to blow you away. It is constantly me thinking and praying and always involving God in my thoughts. And Wendy does a good job, and for some of you who are watching this, she does a good job journaling her prayers so that she can go back and revisit those things and see where I prayed this and now I have the answer to it. Right, it materialized. It came to fruition. I journal prayers that are heavy on my heart because I can always go back, see specifically what I prayed for, and I can journal how He answered my prayer specifically according to what I prayed and wrote down. Yeah. And what it does, it grows my faith. Mm-hmm. It grows my faith. So real quickly, I want to highlight a few things you're saying. Is number one, when you're praying, we do this a lot. Keep it simple. We ask God to, we're not brilliant. And I think sometimes we've been guilty of this. If you're honest, maybe you've been guilty of this. We turn, and you're not going to like what I'm fixing to say, but here's what we do. Sometimes we turn our Christianity, our prayer life, almost like into tarot card readers. Let's just be honest real quick. We're looking for all these signs. It's almost like we're Ouija boarding some sort of answer out of God. Sometimes, you know what I'm talking about? Maybe these are not the right examples, but I feel like sometimes we're looking for all these things And we've always just learned over the years, God, I'm not very smart, God. Okay.
I mean, that's what my prayer sounds like.
Just make it very simple so that I know what I need to do and I can be confident moving forward. That's always been kind of a cornerstone, and especially when it came to making big changes. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple for me, Lord, because I am in my prayer. I'm like, you created me. You know what this brain is and how I can overthink and overanalyze and get into analysis paralysis. But I mean, you're the only one in this universe that knows how to relate to me the way I understand how we relate to each other.
And here's important: if you're married, keep this in mind. The way that God speaks to Wendy, that's powerful, is not the same way He may speak to me. And so be understanding how your partner relates to God and really receives that confidence from God and those answers from God. It's important that y'all communicate those things to one another as well, so that as you move forward, you can be on the same page.
And remember, it's not the religion, guys. Scratch that. It's your relationship. And so I have I have such an ease with my relationship with God that even if it's like we were talking about with Toby last episode, the ugly truth, He already knows it. I might as well say it and voice it to keep that honest dialogue going with Him.
And here, there's an ease amongst us for us to talk freely about what we believe God is speaking or showing or revealing to us. There's no weird, I'm embarrassed about this kind of thing. Like, I can speak freely, even if Wendy may not understand. I can speak freely to her and explain to her why I believe God is leading me in this direction, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So I think journaling is a powerful tool. She does it. I don't. I'm guilty of that, but I believe it's a powerful tool. I've seen it work in her life, because in the event you either say yes to the change or no to the change, whatever it is, whatever decision you make, you can go back and see how God has led you through that process. And especially if you make a big change, you're going to be faced with some challenges. So it's a great confidence booster in your faith and in the path that you're on. If you can go back and say, God provided here, He's going to provide as I move forward. So prayer, step number 1, prayer.
Is prayer, and was getting honest about my position and asking if the situation doesn't change, then it's me. I'm the problem. I need to change.
Yeah. And probably step 2, maybe part of that process, or maybe in conjunction, is taking inventory inwardly, like you said.
Absolutely, yeah. Doing a real audit of where I was mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So,
like, if you're not happy where you are, like, either find a way to make yourself happy, or if you can't, you probably need to make a change. Like, that's a practical thing that like when I was at State Farm, nothing against State Farm, no, great company, lots of things I loved about being an agent there, lots of things I didn't like. But I was not happy there in the long haul. So it's either find a way to be happy as a State Farm agent, or shut up, quit bitching about it, and move on to something that you're going to enjoy, right?
Right.
Most people stay stuck, Frank, in that, I hate my life. I hate my job. Man, nobody cares. If you told me 5 times over 5 different occurrences how much you hated your job, I'm not interested anymore. Like, either do something, like, tell me how you're going to fix it, or tell me what you're going to do to move on to something that you do enjoy. Because after that, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to talk to you.
So I can confidently say right now in this podcast, we're 23 minutes in, there's going to be a part 3 to this. There's no way we're going to cover all of this. So we're going to do a part 3. So my first step was prayer, getting honest with myself, doing a self-evaluation. How long did that take? Probably 2 months, 2 solid months of going back and forth and playing that tennis game with myself of, is it me? Is it the situation? Is it a combination of both? What's happening here? Also, you get so comfortable and so complacent where your life is. And when you start contemplating change, then you start questioning everything, all the above. And so moving out of that is when I started going in. So I was prayer, being grateful, self-evaluation. And then the next step was consulting a few people I trust who were on a level that was higher than success than myself. That involved my husband, that involved a physician I had worked with, that involved a very close friend, and incorporating, getting their thoughts and asking the honest questions. Do you think it's me? Or, I mean, what's wrong with me? What's the best part about me? What's the part you wish you could change? What's the part that, am I being foolish here? So on. You need to ask those hard questions because you're going to get the answers. And whenever you start getting the same trending answer over and over, it has to be true. And so
it's not me, it's you.
Yeah, that's right. And so I think that those were pivotal, making that change and understanding you don't want to make a brash decision. It's like buying the fancy car that you pass and then purchasing it the next day, and the next week you have buyer's remorse and you're wondering what you did. It's just not an overnight decision. It takes some time. So there I am with the ums.
Yeah. So prayer, self-inventory, awareness, gratitude, and then consulting others who you believe or reached a level
on a higher level
of success.
And even if they're maybe on the same level as you, but knowing in their heart that they're not going to give you the answers to feed,
that you want to hear.
That you want to hear. That's right. I need that honest person to tell me, you know, what's going on, because I got a whole lot more other things that I will talk about when it came to the change that I hate to tease y'all with it, but we're well over our time.
Yeah. And Frank's got a busy day and he's scratching his knee over there nervously, so we got to let him go. Hey, look, so to close it, here's what we'll say. Listen, mental toughness is key. You could not have done that or accomplished the things that you accomplished had you not been mentally tough, because as you're going through that process of change, man, you were faced with a lot of adversity at different times. Mental toughness was key in that process. Don't be soft.
I would say this too, when the mental toughness part, when you're contemplating change, there's going to be a lot of truths that are hard to swallow and digest. Sit in them. Sit in that for a moment and really sit in it. Self-evaluation. Those things need to chip away what is holding you back, whatever that is. A toxic relationship, a disbelief in yourself. That's hard to overcome. That is, because when you have 1,000 conversations a day, but you talk to yourself the most, and how you talk to yourself is pivotal with how you move forward. So I know we're kind of all over the place, but...
No, mental toughness is key. It's going to be the key to your success. Whether you stay where you are or you make the change, it's going to be the key, okay? Happiness is a mental thing. It's very important. So mental toughness is key. When it comes to deciding if there is a change that needs to be made, when these practical steps are spend time in prayer, okay? I think in addition to that, if you're married, make sure you and your husband or spouse or wife are on the same page and y'all understand how y'all relate to God in that scenario and be able to communicate freely. So prayer is number one. Number two, learn to practice gratitude. Okay. Number three.
Whatever the situation is.
There's
something to be grateful for.
Number three is self-inventory.
Yep.
And then number four is seek out some folks who you admire, who you know have been successful and who will be honest with you.
That's right.
That's a great platform to end as a basis for our next time, where we're talking about some practical things when it comes to the economy of making that decision, right? How's this going to affect me financially?
How's it going to affect my family?
Yeah.
What's the pros versus the cons?
Yeah.
We're going to discuss all that in the third and final chapter.
And not have a 10-minute rant session.
It was 16 minutes. It was 16-minute rant session.
Hey, look, this was a fun episode. It's been great having all the guests. We have another special guest we're lining up that I'm really excited about, but we don't have a date set yet. So listen, next week we're going to continue this conversation, and we appreciate you. Hey, we got 45 subscribers now. Wow. Our Facebook is growing. Check us out, mitchandwendy.com. And share this with all your family and friends, and engage with us. I like what's happening on social media, so keep engaging. We appreciate all of you. Have a great week and be blessed.